Welcome to our channel HD Rare Coin 111, your go-to spot for uncovering the incredible world of rare US coins. If you've ever wondered if your old pennies, nickels, or dimes are worth more than face value, you're about to find out. In today's video, we'll be exploring some truly rare coins and their shocking values. And if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. So let's jump in. Top 1. The story of the Lincoln 1-cent penny from 1963 is a fascinating journey into the world of American coinage, filled with history, mystery, and immense collector value. This coin is more than just a small copper piece, it is a window into the past, carrying with it the spirit of a pivotal era in United States history. When you hold this coin in your hand, you are touching a piece of heritage that has traveled through decades, carrying countless stories with it. In 1963, the United States was in the midst of enormous change. The nation was caught in the middle of the Cold War. John F. Kennedy was the president, and the American dream was being redefined. During this period, the Lincoln 1-cent penny was already a coin with a rich legacy, first introduced in 1909 to honor Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday. By the time 1963 arrived, the Lincoln cent had already cemented itself as a symbol of patriotism and American identity. The 1963 Lincoln penny is part of the Wheat Reverse series, often called Wheat Cents. On the front, you find the iconic bust of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. The detail of Lincoln's face, the inscriptions, "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the date, 1963, mark this coin with dignity and historical weight. Each detail reminds us of the nation's reverence for its greatest leaders. The reverse side of the 1963 penny displays two wheat stalks flanking the words, 1 cent, in bold lettering. Above them, the phrase, E pluribus unum, appears, a declaration of unity in diversity. This wheat reverse design, used from 1909 until 1958, carried on for a short time after, but the 1963 penny remains special because of its context and rarity. It stands as one of the final years before the nation shifted into dramatic changes, both in society and in coin production. This penny was minted in two locations, Philadelphia and Denver. The Philadelphia mint coins bear no mint mark, while the Denver mint coins proudly display a small D beneath the date. Each mint mark tells its own story, and collectors today look closely at these small details because they can significantly affect the value of a coin. One of the most remarkable aspects of the 1963 Lincoln penny lies in its composition. It was made primarily of copper, with a small percentage of tin and zinc. This copper-rich content gives it a distinctive reddish appearance that shines when preserved properly. Over time, these pennies develop beautiful toning, ranging from deep red to brown, and collectors place great importance on finding pieces that have retained their original brilliance. Mint state examples of the 1963 penny are particularly fascinating. While millions of these coins were struck for circulation, very few were saved in pristine condition. Those that remain untouched by circulation, showing no wear and maintaining their original luster, are now prized possessions. The highest graded examples are rare and incredibly valuable. Another important factor in the 1963 penny's desirability is the presence of errors and varieties. Some coins left the mint with doubled dies, off-center strikes, or other striking mistakes. These errors, though unintentional, make the coin even more unique, and collectors often pay extraordinary sums to secure them. A doubled die error on a 1963 penny, for example, can turn an ordinary cent into a treasure worth thousands. When we think of coins from the 1960s, we must remember the cultural and historical setting. The 1963 penny was circulating at a time when gasoline cost around 30 cents a gallon, and a loaf of bread was less than 20 cents. These pennies were in the pockets of Americans attending civil rights marches, watching President Kennedy deliver speeches, and living through one of the most dynamic decades in U.S. history. The year 1963 also marked the tragic assassination of President John F. Kennedy, an event that shook the nation to its core. While the Lincoln penny had already been an enduring tribute to another assassinated president, Abraham Lincoln, the events of that year gave it an even deeper symbolic resonance. It became a silent witness to history, linking two moments of national mourning. Collectors treasure the 1963 penny not only for its historical connections but also for its beauty. A well-preserved coin glows with a striking red hue that instantly captures attention. Over the decades, the 1963 penny has become harder to find in higher grades. Many were spent, lost, or damaged, leaving only a small percentage that remain in mint condition. This scarcity has driven collectors to pursue them with determination, searching for those rare pieces that survived untouched. The coin market thrives on rarity, condition, and demand, and the 1963 penny checks all three boxes when it comes to high-grade or rare examples. Auctions have seen remarkable bids for the finest specimens, and the value of this coin continues to rise as collectors recognize its significance. To a casual observer, it may seem strange that a simple 1-cent coin could command such immense interest and value. But seasoned numismatists understand that every coin tells a story, and the 1963 penny tells one of resilience, artistry, and legacy. It represents more than just its face value, it embodies a chapter of American life. For beginners in coin collecting, the 1963 penny can be a thrilling introduction. It shows how something so small and seemingly ordinary can become an object of desire, history, and even investment. Holding one of these pennies is a reminder that every coin has the potential to be extraordinary, especially when preserved with care. The joy of collecting coins like the 1963 penny also lies in the hunt. Searching through rolls of old pennies, attending coin shows, or bidding at auctions brings excitement to the hobby. Each discovery feels like unearthing a hidden piece of treasure, and the thrill never fades. That is what makes the 1963 Lincoln penny so special and why collectors are willing to pay extraordinary sums for the best examples. The durability of copper also plays a role in this coin's legacy. Unlike modern coins that are primarily made of zinc, the older copper coins withstand the test of time. This strength has allowed many 1963 pennies to survive decades of circulation, still carrying their design clearly. As you examine this penny, you notice the careful craftsmanship in Lincoln's portrait, the sharp lettering, and the timeless wheat design. Every detail was struck with intention, ensuring that the coin would serve not just as currency but also as art. For coin investors, the 1963 penny offers remarkable potential. Its rising demand in the numismatic community ensures that high-quality specimens continue to climb in value. When a coin has both historical significance and collector enthusiasm, its future in the market is bright. Beyond the collector world, this penny still appears occasionally in circulation. Imagine finding a 1963 wheat penny in your pocket change today. What a thrilling surprise that would be. It's moments like those that fuel the passion for coin collecting and remind us that treasures can appear when we least expect them. The fascination with the Lincoln penny has endured for over a century, and the 1963 issue stands as a shining example of why. Its design, history, rarity, and symbolism make it a coin that continues to inspire awe and admiration. The more you learn about this coin, the more you appreciate its significance. It was born in a year of great hope and tragedy, it carried the legacy of Abraham Lincoln, and it became a silent witness to history. This is why collectors today revere it so highly. When you place a 1963 penny under a magnifying glass, you are not just studying metal, you are unlocking a story. Every mark, every shine, and every detail reveals a piece of history that connects you to the millions who once used this coin in everyday life. That connection to ordinary Americans is what makes this penny extraordinary. It was used to buy candy, newspapers, and stamps, yet today it is valued as a treasure. The journey from common change to priceless collectible is what gives this coin its magic. Collectors today continue to compete fiercely for the best preserved examples, and prices at auctions reflect just how sought after this coin has become. It has moved far beyond its humble 1-cent face value into the realm of true numismatic treasure. As we conclude this journey into the 1963 Lincoln penny, it is clear that this coin is more than metal, it is a piece of living history. It embodies the artistry of coin design, the spirit of a nation, and the thrill of discovery. It has captured the imagination of collectors and will continue to do so for generations. And for the finest, rarest, and most pristine examples of the 1963 Lincoln 1-cent penny, collectors have paid as much as $180,000. Top 2. The Lincoln 1-cent penny from 1980 holds a fascinating place in the story of American coinage, and its journey from an everyday coin to a treasure in the hands of collectors makes it one of the most exciting topics in numismatics. This coin, small as it may seem, is a shining example of how history, rarity, and preservation can transform something ordinary into something extraordinary. By 1980, the Lincoln penny had already been in circulation for more than 70 years. First introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, the coin had gone through a major transformation in 1959 when the reverse design was changed from the wheat stalks to the Lincoln Memorial. The 1980 penny proudly carries this Lincoln Memorial reverse, making it part of the second great chapter in the coin's history. The obverse of the 1980 penny features the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln designed by Victor David Brenner. With its sharp lines and dignified profile, it captures the enduring image of one of America's greatest presidents. Around the portrait are the inscriptions, "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the year, 1980. This design is instantly recognizable and has made the penny one of the most beloved coins in the world. On the reverse, the Lincoln Memorial design created by Frank Gasparo shows incredible detail. If you look closely at a well-preserved 1980 penny, you can actually see the tiny statue of Lincoln seated inside the memorial, a feature that collectors marvel at. Above the memorial is the motto, E Pluribus Unum, and around it is the bold inscription, United States of America, and 1 cent. The 1980 penny was minted in 2 locations, Philadelphia and Denver. The Philadelphia coins have no mint mark, while the Denver coins are marked with a D beneath the date. Both types are highly collected today, but coins from Denver often attract special attention because of their striking quality. Collectors love examining these mint marks because they tell a hidden story about where a coin began its life. In terms of composition, the 1980 Lincoln penny was still made of 95% copper and 5% zinc. This makes it one of the last years before the dramatic change in 1982, when pennies became primarily zinc with a thin copper plating. Because of this, the 1980 penny is heavier and feels different from the pennies minted just a few years later. Collectors treasure it as one of the last copper giants. While millions of these coins were minted, condition plays a huge role in their value. A 1980 penny that has been heavily circulated will not command much attention, but one that has been carefully preserved in mint state condition becomes a prize worth chasing. The fiery red shine of untouched copper makes these coins breathtaking under the light. Another thrilling aspect of the 1980 penny is the presence of rare errors and varieties. Some pennies were struck off-center, others show doubled dies, and some even reveal unusual die cracks or misalignments. These minting mistakes turn the coin into a true rarity, driving collectors into fierce competition whenever one surfaces on the market. Collectors know that the tiniest detail can mean the difference between a penny worth pocket change and one worth thousands. A double die variety from 1980, where parts of the lettering or date appear doubled, is especially sought after. These varieties are incredibly rare and are considered gems of the coin world. The cultural setting of 1980 also adds charm to this penny. It was the start of a new decade, a time of innovation and change in America. These pennies were carried in the pockets of people buying newspapers, candy, and gasoline that cost under $1. Each coin passed from hand to hand, silently witnessing the daily lives of millions of Americans. The Lincoln penny itself carries emotional weight because it is the only circulating U.S. coin to feature a president on the obverse for over a century without interruption. For the 1980 penny, this continuity gives it a sense of timelessness, tying it to both the past and future of America. Over the years, the 1980 penny has become harder to find in perfect mint condition. Most have suffered from circulation wear, scratches, or discoloration. This scarcity of flawless examples has only heightened the value of those rare few that remain untarnished, making them precious jewels in any collection. When collectors search through rolls of pennies, spotting a bright, red 1980 coin feels like finding treasure. The thrill of discovery, the possibility of finding an error, and the knowledge that this coin carries real historical and financial weight make it an unforgettable moment. This penny also connects generations. Parents and grandparents who remember using these pennies in everyday life can now pass them on to younger family members, turning an ordinary coin into a cherished heirloom. That shared history is part of what makes the 1980 penny so deeply meaningful. Copper's natural durability adds another layer of appeal. Unlike modern zinc-based pennies, the older copper coins like those from 1980 have survived the decades with strength, often looking as if they were minted just yesterday when kept in good condition. Collectors often admire these coins for their endurance and beauty. At coin shows and auctions, the 1980 Lincoln penny often draws great interest. Dealers know that buyers are eager for high-grade examples, and when an rare variety is presented, the bidding becomes electrifying. It is in these moments that the true value of the 1980 penny shines brightest. For new collectors, the 1980 penny is a perfect starting point. It shows how something as common as a cent can hold fascinating stories and unexpected worth. This coin can spark a lifelong passion for numismatics, encouraging new enthusiasts to explore further into the world of rare coins. Seasoned collectors, on the other hand, appreciate the subtleties of the 1980 penny. They know how condition, strike quality, and luster all play a role in determining value. They study each detail, searching for that one perfect example that outshines all others. What makes this penny truly special is how it bridges the old and the new. It belongs to the last era of copper cents, yet it still feels modern enough to resonate with today's collectors. It sits at a fascinating crossroads in American coinage. Imagine stumbling upon a 1980 penny in your change today. What an incredible surprise it would be. While most would overlook it, a keen eye could recognize its potential and see it not just as a coin but as a hidden treasure waiting to be discovered. The artistry of Victor David Brenner's obverse design and Frank Gasparo's reverse design come together perfectly on this coin. Each side tells its own story, yet together they create a harmony that makes the penny stand out among U.S. coinage. The excitement around the 1980 penny has only grown with time. As collectors continue to search for high-quality examples, its market value climbs steadily. This makes it not only a historical piece but also a smart investment for those who appreciate its significance. Beyond value, the 1980 penny represents continuity in a world of constant change. It reminds us of the importance of preserving history, cherishing small things, and seeing greatness in what might seem ordinary. Every scratch-free, red-tone 1980 penny is like a time capsule. It carries the energy of an era long past and offers a tangible connection to the people who lived through it. This emotional bond makes the coin priceless in ways that go beyond money. Still, the financial worth cannot be ignored. Collectors around the world eagerly bid on the best 1980 pennies, and those that achieve the highest grades or contain rare mint errors can reach astonishing values at auction. This penny is a symbol of persistence, a coin that began life as mere pocket change but has grown into a treasured artifact. Its story is proof that history can live in even the smallest objects. As long as people value history, artistry, and rarity, the 1980 Lincoln penny will remain a sought-after collectible. Its legacy will continue to inspire collectors and remind us of the beauty hidden in plain sight. And in the world of coin collecting, the most pristine and extraordinary examples of the 1980 Lincoln 1-cent penny have been valued as high as $120,000. Top 3. The Lincoln 1-cent penny from 1981 is one of those coins that, while often overlooked in everyday life, carries with it a story of change, history, and unexpected value. Collectors all around the world are fascinated by this small copper coin because it represents the final chapter of an era before the U.S. Mint made a dramatic shift in composition. The 1981 penny is more than just pocket change, it is a key piece of American coinage history. By the time 1981 arrived, the Lincoln penny had already been in circulation for over 70 years. Introduced in 1909 to commemorate Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday, it became the first circulating U.S. coin to honor a real person. Over the decades, the coin had gone through changes, but its iconic portrait of Lincoln remained the same, reminding Americans of leadership, resilience, and freedom. The obverse of the 1981 penny carries Victor David Brenner's timeless design of Abraham Lincoln, with the inscriptions, "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the date, 1981. The obverse reflects tradition and continuity. Even after decades of minting, the design still looks sharp and elegant, making it one of the most recognizable coins in the world. On the reverse side, you find Frank Gasparo's Lincoln Memorial design. This design replaced the earlier wheat stalks in 1959 and features the grand memorial in stunning detail. A fascinating aspect of this design is the tiny statue of Lincoln seated inside, visible under magnification. Surrounding the memorial are the inscriptions, "United States of America, e pluribus unum," and 1 cent, giving the coin an authoritative and patriotic presence. The year 1981 is particularly significant because it was the last full year that pennies were minted primarily in copper. The following year, in 1982, the U.S. Mint transitioned to copper-plated zinc coins due to rising copper prices. That makes the 1981 Lincoln penny one of the final heavy, copper-rich cents, giving it a special place in collectors' hearts. Minted in both Philadelphia and Denver, the 1981 pennies can be identified by their mint marks, with Denver coins marked with a small D beneath the date. Philadelphia coins, as usual for that era, carry no mint mark. Both types are collected with great enthusiasm, but the finest preserved examples are where the true value lies. The composition of the 1981 penny is 95% copper and 5% zinc, giving it a distinct weight and feel compared to the lighter zinc pennies that followed. Collectors often notice this difference immediately when handling the coin, and it adds to the nostalgia and desirability of the copper cents. Millions of these pennies were produced, but what makes them rare and valuable today is condition and era varieties. A circulated penny may not stand out, but an uncirculated coin with blazing red luster is a jewel. These brilliant red examples are highly prized at auctions, often commanding astonishing prices. Errors are another reason the 1981 penny has captured so much attention. Double-die varieties, off-center strikes, and other minting mistakes transform this ordinary penny into an extraordinary rarity. Even a minor error can skyrocket the coin's value, and collectors scour their collections in hopes of finding one of these elusive treasures. The cultural backdrop of 1981 also adds richness to this coin's story. America was entering a new decade. Ronald Reagan had just taken office as president, and the nation was experiencing shifts in technology, culture, and economy. While all this was happening, the Lincoln penny was quietly circulating in the pockets of millions, bearing witness to history. The Lincoln cent itself is unique because it is the longest-running design in U.S. coinage history. The 1981 penny represents both a continuation of that legacy and a turning point, since it marks the end of the true copper era. That historical distinction elevates its significance beyond that of many other pennies. As collectors examine these coins, one of the most sought-after features is color designation. A coin graded as red means it has retained its full copper shine, while those labeled red-brown or brown have toned over time. The red examples from 1981, especially in high mint state grades, are breathtaking and extremely rare. Auction records show that collectors are willing to pay thousands for top-quality examples of the 1981 penny. Every tiny detail matters, from the sharpness of the strike to the absence of scratches. A perfectly preserved penny from this year is a treasure, and the competition to own one is fierce. Another fascinating aspect of the 1981 penny is its link to everyday American life. These coins were used for buying gum, newspapers, and countless other small purchases. Yet today, they are worth far more than their humble face value when found in the right condition. This transformation from common to extraordinary is what makes coin collecting so magical. The hunt for the 1981 penny is still alive today. Coin roll hunters eagerly search through boxes of pennies, hoping to spot a brilliant, red copper cent from 1981. Each discovery feels like uncovering a time capsule, a reminder of an era when copper pennies were still common. Collectors also enjoy teaching others about coins like the 1981 penny. It serves as an excellent example of how history and value can hide in plain sight. Passing down these stories to younger generations helps keep the passion for numismatics alive. The penny also sparks conversations about change in the U.S. Mint. The decision to shift from copper to zinc in 1982 was controversial, and many collectors feel the copper coins have a superior feel and quality. The 1981 penny embodies the very end of that copper tradition. When you examine this coin under magnification, the fine details of Lincoln's profile, the crisp lettering, and the sharp lines of the Lincoln Memorial stand out beautifully. The artistry of Brenner and Gasparo shines through, reminding us that coins are more than currency, they are art. The durability of copper has allowed many 1981 pennies to survive in excellent condition, though finding flawless examples remains a challenge. This durability is another reason collectors love the coin, knowing it can be preserved for generations. For investors, the 1981 penny offers not just historical value but also financial potential. As demand grows for high-quality copper cents, the market for coins like this one continues to rise. The best examples represent both beauty and opportunity. Even outside of the collecting community, the 1981 penny sometimes turns up in everyday change. Imagine the excitement of spotting a bright, red copper cent from this year in your pocket today. What most people would dismiss as just another penny could actually be worth a fortune. The coin's legacy is tied not only to Abraham Lincoln but also to the story of American money itself. The shift in 1982 forever changed the penny, and that makes the 1981 coin even more important as the last of its kind. In the numismatic world, certain years stand out for their rarity or historical significance, and 1981 is certainly one of them. This penny has become a must-have for collectors, whether for sentimental reasons, historical appreciation, or pure value. The penny also carries emotional weight because it has touched so many lives. It was there in classrooms, coffee shops, and grocery stores, passed along in everyday exchanges. Yet today, in perfect condition, it commands admiration as a precious artifact. Every aspect of the 1981 penny tells a story, from its copper composition to its flawless red luster. Collectors who own such coins often feel as though they are holding a piece of history in their hands, one that represents both tradition and transformation. The beauty of coin collecting is that even the smallest denominations can become the most fascinating. The 1981 penny is living proof of this, transforming from an ordinary cent into a star of the collector's world. As time passes, the 1981 Lincoln penny will only become more desirable. Its historical role, its copper content, and its rarity and pristine condition ensure that it will always have a special place in the world of numismatics. For those who treasure history, artistry, and rarity, the 1981 penny is more than just a coin. It is a reminder that greatness often comes in the smallest packages, and that even a penny can carry the weight of a nation's story. And in the highest grades and rarest varieties, the 1981 Lincoln 1-cent penny has been valued by collectors at an astonishing $116,000. Top 4. The Lincoln 1-cent penny from 1982 is a coin that stands apart from many others in American history. It represents a turning point, a moment of change, and a fascinating chapter in numismatics. While pennies are often overlooked as common and ordinary, the 1982 penny proves that sometimes even the smallest coin can carry incredible importance and astonishing value. By 1982, the Lincoln penny had already been in circulation for more than 7 decades. Introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln, the penny was the first U.S. coin to feature a real historical figure. Through wars, cultural shifts, and decades of change, the Lincoln cent remained a constant presence in the lives of Americans. The obverse of the 1982 penny carries Victor David Brenner's enduring portrait of Abraham Lincoln. His thoughtful profile, paired with the inscriptions, "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the year 1982, gives the coin a look of dignity and respect. This portrait had been used for decades, but by 1982 it carried even greater weight as the longest-running design in American coinage. The reverse features Frank Gasparo's Lincoln Memorial design, introduced in 1959 to commemorate the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. On the 1982 penny, this design shines with remarkable detail, and if you look closely, you can see the tiny statue of Lincoln inside the memorial. This hidden detail makes the coin even more special to collectors. What makes the 1982 penny especially fascinating is its unique role in coinage history. It was the year when the U.S. Mint transitioned from making pennies primarily from copper to producing them primarily from zinc with a thin copper plating. The soaring cost of copper forced the Mint to make this decision, and 1982 became the only year when both types of pennies were minted. This means that the 1982 penny exists in multiple variations, and collectors love to hunt for each type. There are copper pennies and zinc pennies, large date varieties and small date varieties, and they can be found with either a Philadelphia or Denver mint mark. In total, there are 7 recognized varieties of the 1982 penny, making it one of the most complex and exciting coins to collect. The difference between copper and zinc pennies is immediately noticeable. Copper cents weigh 3.11 grams, while zinc cents weigh only 2.5 grams. Collectors often use a scale to determine which type they have. The copper pennies feel heavier and sturdier, while the zinc ones are lighter and more fragile. Another difference comes in the way these coins age. Copper pennies often develop attractive toning over time, sometimes with rich red, orange, or brown hues. Zinc pennies, however, are more prone to corrosion, which makes pristine examples far harder to find. This is why high-quality 1982 copper pennies are especially cherished among collectors. The large date and small date varieties add even more intrigue. On some 1982 pennies, the numbers in the date appear bolder and larger, while on others they are smaller and more delicate. Collectors carefully study the shape of the numbers, particularly the 2, to identify which version they have. These small variations create big excitement in the numismatic world. Era coins from 1982 are another major attraction. With so many varieties being struck during this transitional year, mistakes were bound to happen. Some pennies show double die errors, off-center strikes, or other unusual features. These errors can turn an ordinary penny into a rare treasure worth thousands of dollars. The historical setting of 1982 also adds to the penny's significance. It was the beginning of a new era in America, with Ronald Reagan serving as president and the economy undergoing dramatic changes. While people were adjusting to new times, the penny itself was also changing, moving away from its traditional copper form into something entirely new. The fact that both copper and zinc pennies circulated in the same year makes the 1982 issue one of the most studied coins in U.S. history. Collectors are fascinated by its role as a bridge between the old and the new. This dual identity is what makes the coin stand out among all other Lincoln cents. Condition is a crucial factor in determining value. A 1982 penny that has circulated heavily will not be worth much more than face value, but a coin preserved in mint state condition with vibrant red luster can be extremely valuable. The finest examples are breathtaking to behold, glowing with the fiery brilliance of freshly struck copper. Over the decades, many 1982 pennies have been lost, damaged, or worn down through circulation. Finding pristine examples has become a challenge, which makes those rare, untouched coins even more precious. Collectors know that once they see a flawless 1982 penny, they are looking at something truly extraordinary. The appeal of the 1982 penny also lies in its accessibility. While millions were made, the thrill of finding a copper or small date variety still excites collectors. It reminds us that treasures can hide in the most ordinary places, even in a handful of loose change. For coin roll hunters, the 1982 penny is one of the most exciting discoveries. Sorting through rolls of pennies, weighing them carefully, and identifying the varieties feels like solving a puzzle. Every time a rare variety turns up, it feels like unearthing a hidden gem from the past. The penny also carries emotional significance because it marks the end of an era. For more than 70 years, the copper penny had been a familiar part of American life. The switch to zinc symbolized change and modernity. But for many collectors, the 1982 copper cent remains the true symbol of the Lincoln penny. At auctions, the finest 1982 pennies command extraordinary prices. Collectors from around the world compete fiercely for the best preserved examples, particularly those that are rare varieties or era coins. These moments show just how much passion the numismatic community has for even the smallest denomination. The artistry of Brenner and Gasparo's designs continues to shine on the 1982 penny. Despite being mass-produced, the coin remains a miniature work of art. The sharp lines of Lincoln's profile and the architectural beauty of the memorial make this coin visually stunning, especially in uncirculated condition. For new collectors, the 1982 penny offers a thrilling entry point. It combines history, variety, and value in a way that few other coins do. It teaches beginners about minting, errors, and composition, sparking curiosity and passion for the wider world of coin collecting. Experienced collectors treasure the 1982 penny as well. Its numerous varieties and transitional role make it a must-have for any serious Lincoln cent collection. Many enthusiasts dedicate years to finding every variation, completing the full 1982 set. Even outside the world of collecting, the 1982 penny occasionally surprises people. Imagine finding a copper small date 1982 penny in your pocket change today. It would be a thrilling moment, turning what seems like a worthless cent into a potential fortune. The copper pennies from 1982 have a special warmth and character that zinc pennies simply do not. Their weight, color, and durability remind us of a time when coins were made to last. For many collectors, holding a copper penny from this year is like holding a piece of history. The zinc pennies, while less beloved, are equally important because they represent change. They mark the beginning of a new chapter in U.S. coinage, one that continues to this day. Together, the copper and zinc versions of 1982 tell a complete story of transition. The 1982 penny is also a reminder of how small decisions, like changing a coin's composition, can have lasting impacts. What seemed like a practical choice at the time has now become a defining feature that excites collectors and historians alike. Every detail of this coin, from its weight to its date variations, tells a story. It shows how even the smallest and most common objects can hold incredible depth when we take the time to study them closely. The legacy of the 1982 penny continues to grow as more collectors discover its importance. It is a coin that represents history, artistry, and transformation all in one small package. Its story is as timeless as the president it honors, and when it comes to value, the finest and rarest examples of the 1982 Lincoln 1-cent penny have been known to reach an astonishing $112,000. Top 5. The 1985 Lincoln 1-cent penny is one of those coins that may seem ordinary at first glance, yet when you look closely, you realize it carries with it a fascinating story of American history, minting changes, and collector intrigue. While it jingled in the pockets of millions of Americans during the mid-1980s, today it has become a coin worth a second look. The coin continues the long-standing legacy of the Lincoln cent, a series that began back in 1909 to honor the centennial of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. The portrait by Victor David Brenner, still gracing the obverse of the penny in 1985, has become one of the most enduring designs in American coinage. On the obverse, Lincoln's detailed profile faces right, with "In God We Trust" above his head, Liberty to his left, and the date 1985 to the right. Beneath the date, depending on where the coin was minted, you might find a small letter, D for Denver, or no letter at all, which signifies Philadelphia. The reverse of the 1985 penny continues Frank Gasparo's Lincoln Memorial design. Struck with fine detail, it shows the stately monument in Washington, D.C., with a small statue of Lincoln visible between the pillars. The inscriptions, United States of America, E Pluribus Unum, and 1 cent, surround the memorial, giving the coin its patriotic strength. By 1985, the U.S. Mint was already fully committed to producing pennies with a zinc core and a thin copper plating. This change, first implemented in 1982, reduced the cost of production, since copper prices had risen. The result was a coin weighing only 2.5 grams, much lighter than the pre-1982 cents made entirely of copper. This zinc composition makes 1985 pennies more delicate than their older copper cousins. They are more prone to corrosion, spotting, and plating bubbles. Because of this, collectors place a premium on examples that have survived the years in pristine condition, retaining their original red brilliance. The Denver Mint produced the majority of 1985 pennies, with hundreds of millions struck. Philadelphia also contributed a massive output. Yet despite the high mintage, collectors know that survival in top quality is rare, and errors or varieties can elevate a coin's value dramatically. One of the most intriguing things about the 1985 penny is the potential for minting errors. Pennies of this era often show issues like off-center strikes, broad strikes, or die cracks. These mistakes create unique coins that attract strong interest from collectors. There are also double die varieties to look out for. In some cases, the lettering or details of Lincoln's portrait appear doubled, caused by a misalignment during the die-making process. These doubled dies are scarce and highly collectible, adding excitement to the search for valuable 1985 pennies. Condition plays a major role in determining value. Circulated 1985 pennies are common and usually worth only face value, but uncirculated examples graded in high mint state condition can be far more valuable. Coins with sharp strikes, glowing red luster, and flawless surfaces are the ones collectors compete for. The cultural backdrop of 1985 adds even more richness to this penny story. America was in the middle of a dynamic decade defined by technology, music, and cultural shifts. The Lincoln penny served as an everyday reminder of history while people were living in a fast-changing modern world. For young collectors starting their journey, the 1985 penny is a great teacher. It introduces the importance of mint marks, the transition from copper to zinc, and the role of minting errors. Holding one can spark curiosity about numismatics as a whole. For advanced collectors, the 1985 penny is more than just a common coin. It is part of a broader series that offers depth, challenge, and the thrill of discovery. Its varieties, errors, and high-grade survivors make it worth pursuing. The thrill of coin collecting is that you never know what you might find. A 1985 penny pulled from an old jar or bankroll could turn out to be a rare doubled die or a perfectly preserved gem. The smallest coin can deliver the biggest surprises. When examining a 1985 penny, the details matter. The crispness of Lincoln's hair, the sharpness of the memorial lines, and the quality of the copper plating all help determine whether a coin is just ordinary or something truly special. Some collectors even focus on pennies from the 1980s as a specialty. They seek out every year, every mint mark, and every variety. The 1985 penny becomes a crucial piece in completing that collection, connecting the past with the present. Over the decades, many 1985 pennies have been lost, spent, or corroded. Yet those that have survived in remarkable condition remind us of the care and patience it takes to preserve history. The artistry of the design is worth appreciating too. Brenner's portrait of Lincoln, though familiar, continues to inspire with its quiet dignity. Gasparo's Lincoln Memorial stands as a strong symbol of American ideals. Together, they make this penny a miniature work of art. Collectors also love the fact that pennies like the 1985 can still be found in circulation today. Imagine the excitement of spotting a gem-quality coin in your change, or discovering an era variety tucked away in a forgotten coin roll. The U.S. Mint's commitment to efficiency in the 1980s gave us this lightweight penny, but the collector community has ensured it will always have historical importance. What started as a cost-saving measure became a defining chapter in American numismatics. Over the years, 1985 pennies have appeared in coin auctions, often drawing impressive bids when they display top-notch condition or dramatic errors. These sales show that even modern coins can hold significant value when rarity and quality come together. The penny has always been more than just money. It carries stories, artistry, and the legacy of Abraham Lincoln himself. The 1985 version continues that legacy while marking a unique moment in minting history. For those who treasure the beauty of coins, the 1985 penny proves that every detail matters. From the gleam of copper plating to the sharpness of a mint state strike, it is a coin that rewards careful observation. Its place in collections is secure, and as time goes on, surviving examples will only become more valuable. The zinc core may be fragile, but the historical importance of this coin is strong and enduring. Coin collectors often say that the journey is just as rewarding as the destination. Searching for a perfect 1985 penny, or discovering an unusual error, brings excitement and joy. It is the thrill of the hunt that makes numismatics so captivating. Every 1985 penny tells a story. Whether it has been spent countless times or preserved untouched in a collector's album, it reflects the passage of time, the ingenuity of minting, and the beauty of American coinage. In the end, the 1985 Lincoln 1-cent penny is more than just a coin. It is a snapshot of American history, a piece of artistry, and a potential treasure waiting to be discovered. And in the rarest and most valuable cases, when a flawless example of the 1985 Lincoln 1-cent penny is sold at auction, it has been valued as high as $100,000. Top 6. The Lincoln Wheat Penny of 1937 is a coin that captures the imagination of collectors around the world. At first glance, it may look like just another small copper coin, but when you dive deeper into its history and rarity, you realize that it holds stories and values far greater than its size. The Wheat Cent series, introduced in 1909, was America's way of honoring Abraham Lincoln on the centennial of his birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, it quickly became one of the most beloved coins in American history. The 1937 issue carried that tradition proudly, keeping Lincoln's image alive in the hearts of everyday Americans. On the obverse, Abraham Lincoln's portrait is bold and dignified. His profile faces right, with his thoughtful gaze forever captured in copper. Above his head, the national motto, "In God We Trust," reminds us of the country's guiding belief. To the left rests the word, "Liberty," and to the right, the date 1937, a year etched into both history and coinage. The reverse of the 1937 penny is equally iconic. Instead of the Lincoln Memorial design we see today, the back of this coin displays two wheat stalks curving upward like protective arms. Between them, the words 1 cent stand strong, with "United States of America," and the phrase "E pluribus unum" completing the design. The wheat ears are a symbol of prosperity, growth, and the hard-working spirit of the nation during a time when many families were still recovering from the struggles of the Great Depression. Holding this coin is like holding a reminder of resilience and hope. The 1937 Lincoln penny was struck at 3 different U.S. mints. The Philadelphia Mint issued coins with no mint mark, the Denver Mint produced coins with a DE mint mark, and the San Francisco Mint struck coins with an S. Each version has its own charm and value to collectors. In total, millions of these coins were minted, but survival in pristine condition is what makes the difference today. Many of these pennies were spent countless times during the 1930s and 1940s, wearing down the details and losing their original luster. Collectors today search for examples that remain in sharp detail. A coin that still glows with its original red copper shine from the day it was struck is extremely rare. Most examples you find are brown from years of circulation, making the brilliant red survivors a true prize. Beyond condition, errors from the minting process also add to the excitement of the 1937 penny. Coins with doubled dies, repunched mint marks, or striking mistakes often draw collectors' attention. Each unique error transforms a common cent into a highly desirable rarity. Imagine finding a 1937 wheat penny with doubling on the date, or letters. Such a coin not only carries history, but also a distinct feature that makes it one of a kind. That is the thrill of coin collecting, the hunt for these hidden treasures. The year 1937 itself was a remarkable time in American history. The country was beginning to emerge from the economic hardships of the Great Depression, while also preparing for the uncertainties that would lead to World War II. Every penny minted during that time was used by hardworking families to stretch their limited resources. That is what makes the 1937 penny so meaningful. It is not just a coin, it is a piece of survival, resilience, and daily life for people of that era. A child might have used it to buy a piece of candy, while a parent might have saved pennies like this one to pay for bread or milk. Holding a 1937 penny is like traveling back in time. It connects you to the struggles, triumphs, and ordinary lives of those who lived nearly a century ago. As the years passed, many of these coins were lost, damaged, or melted down. Yet, the ones that survived became more than pocket change. They became relics of American history and symbols of enduring value. Collectors today value the 1937 penny not just for its copper content, but for its story. It is the narrative of a nation in transition, moving from hardship to hope, and from uncertainty to determination. The artistry of Victor David Brenner's design adds even more to its appeal. His portrait of Lincoln remains one of the most respected works of coin engraving, admired for its realism and timeless dignity. The wheat reverse, simple yet powerful, reflects America's agricultural roots and the promise of prosperity. This design would last until 1958, making the 1937 issue part of a long and beloved tradition. For collectors, assembling a complete set of wheat cents is a challenge, and the 1937 penny is an essential part of that journey. Each mintmark version adds to the story, creating a puzzle that numismatists love to solve. High-grade examples of the 1937 penny often appear at auctions, where they attract strong bidding. Collectors recognize the rarity of finding such an old coin in nearly flawless condition, making it a sought-after prize. Even coins in circulated condition have their charm. Every nick, scratch, and worn surface tells of its journey through countless hands and countless stories of American life. The beauty of coin collecting is that it turns something ordinary into something extraordinary. The 1937 wheat penny reminds us that even the smallest coin can hold tremendous historical and financial value. Today, people still search their old jars, drawers, and change for wheat pennies. The thrill of discovering one from 1937 in great condition is like striking gold, especially when you realize how much such a coin can be worth. What makes the 1937 penny even more exciting is its potential for long-term value. As time passes and fewer pristine examples remain, its rarity will only increase, making it even more desirable. This penny teaches us patience. Collectors who carefully examine rolls of coins or inherited collections know the joy of spotting a hidden treasure among the ordinary. Every coin from 1937 is a reminder of the enduring legacy of the Lincoln cent. More than 8 decades later, it still inspires fascination, respect, and admiration. Whether you are a beginner or a seasoned numismatist, the 1937 wheat penny is a coin that deserves a place in your collection. It is small in size but immense in meaning. The journey of this coin from the mint presses of 1937 to the hands of collectors today is a story of survival, resilience, and value. It represents the best of what coin collecting has to offer, and in its rarest and most extraordinary condition, the 1937 Lincoln 1-cent wheat penny has been valued at an astonishing $230,000. Top 7. The Lincoln Wheat Penny of 1941 is more than just a small copper coin. It is a time capsule from an era filled with change, resilience, and history. This coin holds a special place in the world of numismatics, not only for its design but also for the significance of the year it was struck. When you hold a 1941 Lincoln cent, you are holding a coin that circulated during the early years of World War II. Although America had not yet entered the war, the world was already shifting dramatically. Every penny struck that year became part of a story much larger than itself. The obverse of the coin proudly features the portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner back in 1909. Lincoln's calm and determined profile became the first real human face on a U.S. coin, breaking tradition and setting a new standard for American money. Above Lincoln's head, the words, "In God We Trust," shine as a national motto, a guiding phrase during uncertain times. To the left sits the word, "Liberty," and to the right, the year 1941, forever marking its place in history. Turning to the reverse, the design is equally memorable. 2 wheat stalks curve gracefully along the sides, surrounding the words 1 cent and United States of America. The phrase, "E pluribus unum," meaning, "out of many one," stands proudly at the top. The wheat design symbolizes strength, prosperity, and unity, important ideals for a nation preparing for difficult years ahead. This reverse design lasted until 1958, making the 1941 wheat penny a beloved part of that long and iconic series. In 1941, the United States Mint produced these pennies in large numbers at 3 different mints: Philadelphia with no mint mark, Denver with a small D, and San Francisco with an S. While millions were struck, condition and rarity play the key roles in their value today. Most 1941 pennies spent decades in circulation, wearing down as they passed through countless hands. Many were spent on groceries, gas, or small wartime supplies carrying with them the daily life of ordinary Americans, collectors today search for examples that remain in pristine condition. A bright red copper coin from 1941, with its original mint luster intact, is considered a treasure. These rare survivors bring high premiums at auctions. Some 1941 wheat pennies are also valuable because of minting errors. Doubled dies, off-center strikes, and repunched mint marks add excitement for collectors. Each error tells a unique story, turning an ordinary coin into something extraordinary. Imagine spotting a 1941 penny with clear doubling in its date or letters. That simple difference transforms the coin from a common collectible into a rare and highly desirable piece of history. The historical backdrop of 1941 adds even more importance. It was the year when tensions across the globe reached a breaking point, and by December, America entered World War II after the attack on Pearl Harbor. Every coin from this year carries the weight of that history. This penny is a silent witness to the sacrifices and struggles of families during that time. A child may have used it to buy a small treat, while parents carefully saved pennies like these to stretch their wartime budgets. Because of this, holding a 1941 wheat penny is like stepping back into a world on the edge of transformation. It connects us to the hopes, fears, and resilience of people who lived through one of the most defining years of the 20th century. Collectors appreciate the artistry of Brenner's design as much as the history behind it. His portrait of Lincoln remains timeless, admired for its depth, character, and dignity. The wheat design on the reverse captures America's agricultural roots, and its promise of growth. High-grade examples of the 1941 penny are rare because so many were used heavily. When one appears at auction in flawless condition, it often stirs excitement among collectors who know just how scarce such coins are. Even circulated coins have their charm. Every scratch and worn detail tells of the coin's long journey, adding personality and character that makes each one unique. For coin enthusiasts, assembling a collection of wheat pennies is a journey filled with discovery, and the 1941 penny is a key part of that adventure. Its availability in many grades makes it accessible, yet its rarities make it thrilling. What makes the 1941 penny especially fascinating is its balance of commonality and rarity. While millions were minted, only a handful of exceptional examples remain today, and those are what capture collectors' hearts. Searching through old jars, inherited collections, or rolls of coins still excites people who dream of finding a 1941 wheat penny in exceptional condition. The idea that such a coin could be hiding in plain sight is part of what keeps numismatics alive. The value of the 1941 penny has grown steadily, especially for coins in high grades. As more time passes, fewer pristine examples remain, making them even more desirable to serious collectors. This coin is more than metal, it is a story of survival. From the mint presses of 1941 to the present day, it has endured war, circulation, and the passage of decades. The emotional connection people feel to this coin is strong. It is a reminder of perseverance, history, and the enduring legacy of Lincoln himself. Collectors know that the 1941 penny represents not just value in dollars, but also in meaning. Each coin is a bridge connecting us to the lives of ordinary people from the past. The thrill of holding one in your hand is undeniable. It may be small, but it carries weight far greater than its size suggests. This is why the Lincoln Wheat Penny of 1941 remains one of the most fascinating coins to study, collect, and treasure. Its history, design, and rarity all come together in a perfect blend of meaning and value. And when found in its rarest and most perfect form, the Lincoln 1-cent wheat penny of 1941 has been valued at an incredible $196,000. Top 8. The Lincoln Wheat Penny of 1945D is one of those coins that seems small at first glance but hides an extraordinary story within its copper frame. Every detail on this coin speaks of history, resilience, and the remarkable legacy of America during the closing years of World War II. When you hold this penny, you are not just holding a piece of currency, you are holding a moment in time. The year 1945 was unforgettable, as it marked the end of one of the most devastating conflicts in human history. This coin, minted in Denver, was part of that powerful chapter. On the obverse side, we see the familiar and dignified profile of President Abraham Lincoln, Sculpted by Victor David Brenner, his face represents strength, honesty, and leadership, qualities that resonated deeply during those challenging years. Above Lincoln's head is the phrase, "In God we trust," a motto that carried immense meaning for a nation enduring war and loss. To the left rests the word, "Liberty," while to the right is the date 1945, forever tying the coin to that historic year. Just below the date sits the small but significant D mint mark, showing that this coin was struck in Denver. Turning to the reverse, the design is equally iconic. The two wheat stalks frame the words 1 cent and United States of America. At the top, the Latin phrase, E pluribus unum, reminds us of unity, out of many, one, a phrase that meant more than ever as the country came together in victory and rebuilding. The wheat reverse is simple yet powerful, symbolizing growth, strength, and nourishment. It was a design that carried America from 1909 to 1958, and the 1945 D penny is one of the later examples that proudly bears this timeless art. Millions of these pennies were struck in Denver, but not all have survived in the same condition. Most circulated heavily, exchanged for goods, tucked away in jars, or forgotten in pockets. Time wore them down, erasing the sharp details and rich luster that once shone so brightly. But among the millions, there are always rare survivors, coins that somehow escaped circulation, preserved in remarkable condition. These are the treasures that collectors search for and that make the 1945 D penny so exciting. In pristine grades, the copper glows with a vibrant red color, a shade that takes collectors' breath away. Such coins are like frozen time machines, showing us what these pennies looked like the day they left the Denver Mint. Era coins add another layer of fascination to this penny. Off-center strikes, doubled dies, and repunched mint marks turn ordinary examples into rare collectibles. Each era makes the coin unique, ensuring no two are ever exactly the same. For example, some 1945 D pennies show clear doubling on the date or lettering, making them incredibly sought after. These errors elevate the coin far beyond its face value and into the realm of serious numismatic treasure. The 1945 D penny also carries the emotional weight of its era. It was struck in the final year of World War II, when hope was returning and peace was finally within reach. Every coin minted that year is tied to the memory of victory and sacrifice. Imagine a soldier's child using a 1945 penny to buy candy after the war ended. Imagine a family carefully saving every cent as they prepared to rebuild their lives in peacetime. These coins were part of the everyday lives of millions of Americans. Holding one today is like holding a piece of that story. It connects us directly to the courage and resilience of an entire generation. It is more than copper, it is history you can touch. Collectors deeply appreciate the artistry of this coin. Lincoln's portrait is filled with character, while the wheat design on the back links the coin to the heart of American agriculture and tradition. Together, they create a masterpiece of simplicity and meaning. Assembling a collection of wheat pennies is a thrilling journey for many collectors, and the 1945 D plays a central role. It is not the rarest date, but in high grades, it commands respect and admiration. The Denver Mint's small d gives the coin a regional identity, reminding us that coins came from different places but circulated together as part of one unified system. Each mint mark adds to the puzzle of coin collecting. High-grade examples of the 1945 D penny are especially desirable. Mint state red coins with blazing luster are extremely hard to find, and when they appear at auction, they often create a stir among collectors. Even circulated examples tell their own story. The smooth surfaces and softened details remind us of the countless hands that touched them, the everyday lives that depended on them, and the world they witnessed. For numismatists, the thrill lies in discovery. Finding a 1945 D penny in exceptional condition feels like striking gold. The dream of finding one tucked away in an old box or roll keeps collectors searching. Over the decades, values for these pennies have risen, especially for coins preserved in the finest states. The demand for wheat pennies continues to grow, and coins like the 1945 D remain cornerstones of that passion. This coin embodies survival. It survived war, circulation, and time itself to reach us today. That survival story gives it a value far greater than copper and face worth. When we admire a 1945 D penny, we are not just admiring metal, we are admiring perseverance, legacy, and memory. It connects us with the spirit of Lincoln and the triumph of a nation emerging from darkness. The beauty of coin collecting is that it brings history to life. Each coin is a doorway, a bridge between generations. The 1945 D Wheat Penny is one of those special bridges. For collectors, the thrill of holding one is not only about its financial value but also about its emotional power. It is a chance to touch history and carry a piece of it forward. The Lincoln Wheat Penny of 1945 D remains one of the most fascinating and meaningful coins of the mid-20th century. It blends history, artistry, and rarity into something unforgettable. And when found in its most perfect and rarest form, this humble Lincoln 1-cent Wheat Penny of 1945 D has been valued at an astonishing $175,000. Top 9. The Lincoln Wheat Penny of 1945 is one of those coins that carries with it not only the story of money but also the story of an entire generation. Minted during the final year of World War II, it became a small but meaningful symbol of resilience and hope. This coin might look like an ordinary cent to the untrained eye, but in reality, it represents history, artistry, and rarity rolled into one. When we look closely, the details begin to tell a tale worth listening to. The obverse side proudly displays the face of President Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. His profile exudes dignity and strength, standing as a timeless reminder of leadership and unity. Above Lincoln's head, the motto, "In God We Trust," is etched clearly, a phrase that resonated deeply with Americans in 1945 as they turned from years of war toward peace. On the left side, the word, liberty, emphasizes the ideals the nation stood for, while the date 1945 on the right forever ties this coin to the pivotal year when the world finally saw an end to the global conflict. Flipping the coin reveals the reverse design, where two simple yet graceful wheat stalks frame the denomination. 1 cent. This design, used from 1909 until 1958, has become iconic among collectors. The words, "United States of America," remind us of the nation's unity, while "E pluribus unum" sits proudly above, echoing the spirit of one nation made from many. At first glance, millions of these pennies were struck in 1945, so it might seem like they are common. But as any coin collector knows, true rarity comes not just from numbers but from condition, errors, and survival. Many of these coins circulated heavily. They bought newspapers, candy, and small necessities during the post-war years. As they passed through countless hands, their surfaces wore down. Today, most surviving examples show signs of wear, scratches, and discoloration. But the rare few that remain in pristine condition are the ones that command immense interest and value. The color of the copper plays a major role in its desirability. Collectors seek out coins with vibrant red luster, coins that shine as if they were freshly minted. Over time, many pennies lose that glow, turning brown or developing dark spots. That makes the fully red examples from 1945 all the more remarkable and valuable. Errors on 1945 wheat pennies also add fascination. Doubled dies, off-center strikes, and repunched mintmarks turn ordinary coins into prized rarities. These small imperfections make each coin unique. Some error coins from 1945 display striking doubling on letters or the date, making them stand out immediately under magnification. Such pieces are highly sought after at auctions. Beyond condition and rarity, the 1945 penny holds deep historical weight. It was minted during the year when victory was declared and peace began to return. That alone gives the coin symbolic importance. Imagine someone using this penny in 1945 to celebrate the war's end with a soda or a newspaper. That little coin witnessed joy, relief, and a new beginning. Holding one today means touching the same copper that circulated in a world very different from ours, linking us directly to the spirit of that generation. The artistry of Brenner's design is another reason collectors treasure this coin. Lincoln's portrait is simple but powerful, while the wheat stalks on the back symbolize growth and strength. The wheat reverse design gives the coin a sense of heritage. It connects us to an America rooted in hard work, farming, and resilience, qualities that define the era. Collectors often build complete sets of wheat pennies, and the 1945 edition holds an important spot in those collections. Its historical context makes it more than just another date. High-grade examples of the 1945 wheat penny often draw intense competition at auctions. The combination of condition, luster, and rarity can drive prices to astonishing levels. Even well-worn examples have their charm. They remind us of the countless people who held them and the everyday lives they touched. Each scratch tells its own story. For serious collectors, the challenge is finding coins that survived with nearly perfect detail. These are the treasures that transform a simple penny into a prized collectible. The 1945 wheat penny is more than just a coin, it is a time capsule. It captures the final chapter of a global war and the beginning of peace. That makes it not just valuable in dollars, but priceless in meaning. To hold one is to hold a symbol of survival, unity, and hope. Collectors continue to search for these gems, driven by both passion and the possibility of finding something truly extraordinary. The thrill of discovery is part of the magic of coin collecting, and when it comes to the 1945 wheat penny, the highest grade survivors with brilliant red luster can reach values that most people would never imagine for a humble 1-cent piece. In fact, the rarest and finest examples of the United States of America Lincoln 1-cent wheat penny 1945 have been valued at an incredible $170,000. Top 10. The Lincoln wheat penny of 1949 is one of those coins that may seem simple at first glance but carries a world of history, charm, and value behind its copper surface. Minted in the years following World War II, this penny became part of America's everyday story as the nation rebuilt itself and stepped into a new era. This coin reflects not just currency but also a moment in history. People in 1949 used these pennies to buy candy, newspapers, and even to save in little jars at home. Every coin that survived tells the story of ordinary American life. The obverse side, designed by Victor David Brenner, displays Abraham Lincoln's dignified profile. His calm expression and strong features remind us of a leader who stood firm through America's most difficult years. Above his head, the famous words, "In God we trust," are engraved, symbolizing the nation's enduring faith and unity during a time of growth and hope. To the left of Lincoln's portrait, the word, "Liberty," is written, standing as a timeless reminder of the freedom that defines the United States. To the right, the date 1949 forever ties this penny to a unique post-war era. Turning to the reverse side, the coin showcases the beloved wheat design. Two graceful stalks of wheat frame the words, 1 cent, and United States of America, creating an image that reflects strength, growth, and prosperity. Above the denomination, the Latin phrase, E pluribus unum, is boldly inscribed, reminding collectors that the country is built from many people united as one nation. Although millions of these coins were produced, not every 1949 wheat penny is equal in value. The true treasures are those rare examples that survived the test of time in pristine condition. The copper used in these coins naturally darkens with age, which is why pennies that still shine with their original red luster are highly prized. Collectors hunt for those brilliant examples that look almost as fresh as the day they left the mint. Some pennies from 1949 display natural variations in color, from bright red to deep brown. Each shade tells the story of how the coin was stored and preserved over the decades. Errors also make certain 1949 wheat pennies unique. Doubling on the date, off-center strikes, or repunched mint marks create fascinating versions of this coin that command extra attention from collectors. These era coins are not mistakes in the eyes of numismatists. Instead, they are treasures that highlight the charm of the minting process and the rarity of finding something truly different. High-grade examples with clear details, sharp lettering, and full luster are the most sought after. These are the coins that collectors dream of adding to their sets. Every tiny detail matters. From the smoothness of Lincoln's cheek to the clarity of the wheat lines on the reverse, each feature plays a role in determining the value of a 1949 wheat penny. Think about it this way: millions of people spent these pennies without giving them a second thought. But only a rare few were tucked away, carefully protected, and saved for the future. Those carefully preserved pieces are the ones that now appear at auctions, where passionate collectors compete to own a piece of history. The 1949 Wheat Penny also represents an important chapter in the broader Lincoln Cent series. It bridges the gap between the wartime pennies of the 1940s and the approaching end of the wheat design in the 1950s. Collectors often see this coin as a piece of the puzzle, one that completes sets and adds depth to their historical collections. Without it, no Wheat Penny series feels truly complete. What makes the 1949 edition special is not just its design but its context. It reminds us of post-war America, a time of optimism, rebuilding, and new opportunities. Imagine holding one of these pennies in 1949. It might have been given as change at a movie theater, or perhaps dropped into a child's piggy bank, where it was saved for years. That sense of nostalgia makes the coin even more desirable. Collectors are not only buying copper, they are buying memories, connections, and history preserved in metal. The artistry of Brenner's design is another reason why the coin has endured in popularity. His portrait of Lincoln and the symbolic wheat ears combine elegance with simplicity. The coin's beauty lies in its balance. It is a reminder that sometimes the simplest designs carry the most lasting meaning. Over the years, the 1949 Wheat Penny has grown in reputation among collectors. Its charm, its history, and its rarity have transformed it into far more than a 1-cent coin. Today, it is not uncommon to see collectors eagerly searching for the best preserved examples, each hoping to discover a penny that will shine brighter than the rest. These coins continue to captivate new generations of hobbyists, keeping alive the fascination with small treasures that connect us to our past. And while most 1949 pennies may only be worth their face value, the finest surviving examples tell a different story. Their rarity makes them gems in the world of coin collecting. At auctions, these exceptional pieces have achieved incredible prices, astonishing those who once thought of pennies as nothing more than pocket change. The most remarkable of these, the rarest and most flawless examples of the United States of America Lincoln 1-cent Wheat Penny 1949, have reached a value of $164,000.